But speaking of ladies, we need to go up next to this lady who will be moderating the debate, of course, tomorrow.
Right.
We have our live stream starting tomorrow, starting a little early because of two guests. But Kristen Welker, right? Correct?
Is it
Welker. Kristen Welker? Is it Welker? Someone corrected me when I said Welker Walker.
I don't know.
It's Welker.
Okay.
That Welker.
Maddie, look
Welker, Texas bitch, to use Maddie's word. And here's the thing, to discuss, before we get into it, how do I, and I'll give you some research that might surprise you, 5 things you need to know about her. Mm-hmm. My thoughts are, if you can't say it better than the best, just steal from them.
How do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
Okay.
Hey.
So Kristen Welker has had long ties, not just to the Democratic Party, not just being a liberal, but actually going to social functions, working with, having romantic like all kinds of ties, right, behind the scenes, which we will get into. But what mostly matters, of course, is, for example, you could be, I don't know, maybe you could be George Stephanopoulos, where you were a White House communications director under the Clintons, but maybe he can be objective, and so you look to his behavior, and then you flip through the behavior, you go like, oh no, he's a shill.
Yep.
I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt. And he wears lifts.
Oh, who does that?
It's embarrassing.
Little people. Let's go through a couple of examples. I don't know if you remember this, where she was asking Donald Trump if he... this was after someone had gone after him, if he was rattled. So here is the actual exchange. Just so you know, this is important because I've always talked about this. When Donald Trump has been able to communicate with people directly when he's doing those White House briefings, he does better. You look at these states, the swing states, he's within the margin of error because he campaigns in person, whereas Joe Biden has no ground game. He thinks that all of his ads should be spent on cable news. When Donald Trump speaks directly to people, he does better. And so this is why I think this example of Kristen Welker is so important, because you can see the actual interaction that takes place when Donald Trump is answering the question, and then we will show you how she surmised him addressing the question after. Very yin and yang. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Here's the first one.
Are you rattled by this at all, Mr. President?
I don't know. Do I seem rattled? It's unfortunate that this is a world, but the world's always been a dangerous place.
Now listen. Cool, calm, and collected. These are not usually adjectives you would use to describe Donald Trump. No. That just happens to be one of them. When asked about this exchange, this is how she told her partners in media the president responded.
I asked the president if he was rattled by all of this. He said, of course, but he also expressed his gratitude.
He said none of that.
No.
That's the exact opposite of what he said.
Right. What?
And again, where does this stop? When people say, journalism is important, and Jake Tapper going out there virtually on Twitter, she's one of the finest among us. Well, yeah, because you're all equally pieces of shit. So like, she's one of the finest among us. Well, sure, because she's the mushroom growing in the turd pile.
Yeah. Where's the CNN fact checker coming on and fact checking themselves? Because
where does it stop? It's like, hey, are you a child rapist? No. Well, when I asked if he was a child rapist, he said, it's what I live for. John, back to you.
Hope to see Joe Biden at the next meeting. Just kidding.
Were you rattled? Do I seem rattled? Listen, it's unfortunate. Followed by, he said, of course. So,
but she'll be fair for the debate.
Fair.
Absolutely.
And she's in control of muting the mic.
Oh, no.
I mean, all she has to do is be just slightly less attacking than Savannah Guthrie, and she's already going to do a better job. But I mean, here, look, all they got to do is do the Stephanopoulos, right? Which, the one time he pushed back and he was like, but Joe, what about fracking? No, you don't want to answer that? Okay.
I'm sorry for asking.
Yeah, my apologies.
Gosh. She's going to be able to mute the microphone. She's going to be, President Trump. She was going to say Senator. That's Joe Biden. He's running for Senate. Haven't heard. Say, President Trump, are you a child rapist? Listen,
He said yes.
Question.
He said yes.
Yes. Oh, my word.
Right here, folks.
And you know what we're going to use? We're going to feed this to our friends at BuzzFeed, Slate, and NBC.com and ABC, and then use that as a source for why he's a child rapist. Right.
Exactly.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's not just like one example,
you for the report.
Right. There's no denial. It's
crazy.
It's like the Hunter Biden laptop, right? There's no denials. It's just, next topic.
Exactly. They're trying to make me look bad.
Yeah, with the Biden, and that'll get us to another one here, a question that he answered from her. But with Biden, it's just, hey, can you deny the authenticity? Or, yeah, you would ask that. Yeah, I am.
You're correct. That was the question I just asked.
Hold on, I got a Dexter's Lab scratch and sniff with my name on it. I have 4 pages of Dee Dee. So here's another one. Welker, by the way, deleted her entire Twitter account before the debate.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah. That's just something like Kevin Roose over there when he called. Was he New York Times? Kevin Roose? Yeah, where he was asking his policies to delete all his tweets because he makes his living off of digging up old tweets.
He knows the game.
So this is how confident she is in her standing, Kristen Welker. She, right there, you see that example, and she deleted all. So her Twitter was dead to begin with. Now, another thing you may not know, she comes from a family
Bruce Willis kind of thing.
Yeah. She comes from a family of big Democrat donors. She actually spent her Christmas in the White House. That's a communist Eloise story.
That's interesting.
Eloise left her penthouse for the White House.
Yeah.
And then she was sniffed by the vice president.
And then she ran away.
There we go. Spoilers.
And we have more to get to. But by the way, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot. And of course, the notifications let you know when we do the show. Yeah. Weekday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And tomorrow is the debate stream.
Yeah.
So excited.
Here's another one you may not know. Again, this is only important because, and this isn't a character assassination. Yeah. It's journalistic integrity assassination. Yeah. And I'll claim it. In 2016, she got busted for, a lot of people don't know this, the hot mic incident, where she was actually, there was, Hillary Clinton had a campaign spokesperson. I don't know, what's the difference between a spokesperson, representative, and Spox?
Nothing.
Okay.
I think Spox is just short.
Spox is short?
Spox.
Yeah. Why? They just want to keep us confused. They want to keep us confused, like spokesperson, representative, Spox. Are you rattled?
Sounds
Do
like
I
a
look
pejorative.
rattled? He was rattled. I don't know what to believe anymore. It's almost like they're lying on purpose. She was caught on a hot mic trying to tip off a Hillary Clinton representative. And this is, I believe, when her and Bernie were locked in a close race. And it's so uncomfortable. You wouldn't believe it if I wrote this in an article at loudwithcrowder.com. So let's go to the tape.
Go right to Kristen Welker. Kristen, go ahead.
He's okay. And I'm going to ask you about Flynn.
Kristen, go ahead. You're live.
Christian, please.
Kristen Welker in the spin room. I believe she has the Clinton communications director with her. Go ahead, Kristen.
Okay, thank you. I think this is his last question.
Go ahead.
Hey, Ari, I'm here with communications director Jen Palmieri for the Clinton campaign.
I mean, at least Donna Brazile had the courtesy of doing it by email so that we couldn't hear the tone of voice. Just think about this. Yeah. They're tipping off. You don't think they're tipping off Biden to the questions right now?
Please.
How can you trust this? Yeah. How can you trust this debate being fair? And here's another one that I think is most telling. Well, not most telling because of her, because she's terrible, but because of Donald Trump's answer. And I think it's interesting to contrast that with an answer of our favorite sniffer-in-chief today with his scandal. So let's go to Kristen Welker, of course, asking Donald Trump about completely unfounded Russia allegations and his response.
Mr. President, yes or no? Have you, or are you now, have you ever worked for Russia? Yes
I never worked for Russia. And you know that answer better than anybody. I never worked for Russia. Not only did I never work for Russia, I think it's a disgrace that you even asked that question because it's a whole big fat hoax.
That's like a definitive answer.
Very definitive.
Now, granted, when she went on Anderson Cooper, she said, I asked him if he had worked for Russia, and he said that that's where he made a majority of his income. Back to you, Anderson.
Said, of course.
He said yes.
Here to talk about this is Jeffrey Toobin. Jeffrey, what?
Oh, no.
Jeffrey, you're live.
Put a sticky note on your camera. That was good enough for Joe Lewis right there. I think we have the Joe Lewis camera for people who can't know. Do we not? There you go.
What a cutie.
He gets that. Yeah. So let's contrast that. Donald Trump, have you ever worked for Russia? No, absolutely not. I've never worked for Russia, and you should be ashamed for even asking that question because you know it's a hoax. Compare that with Biden. Every single time he's been asked, he goes, I'm not going to answer, and you would ask that kind of question, fat. Right? He just completely avoids it. Yeah. The easiest thing to do would be deny the authenticity of the emails, which, by the way, Biden hasn't done, but CNN has done. ABC, NBC, CBS, Young Turks, Slate, Vox, they all just say, this is so ridiculous, it's not true. Well, hold on a second. Unlike the peeing Russian prostitutes, unlike the story we had of Donald Trump calling troops losers and suckers, what do we have? We have the laptop. We have the pictures already that are irrefutable proof that at least he was doing this. We have the emails. We have the lawyer's email requesting the laptop back. And now we have what appears to be an authentic, verified proof of purchase with Hunter Biden's signature. I don't know how much more you need?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Well, there's one way that we can
That is
make
a
the
lot.
media talk about this, and that's if Trump brings it up at the debate.
Right.
Which would be awesome.
Please.
And the problem with
Please.
that, though, is it won't do well with the audience.
Right. Oh, sure,
It could
yeah.
do better on the economy, which won't be discussed, or gun control, which won't be discussed. The media will never ask any questions. So this is the problem. Donald Trump has to do the job of the media right now that they won't do. This is and it's not about Hunter Biden. It's about Joe Biden. It's about him being the big guy, which has also been confirmed from third-party producers saying the big guy getting a cut is Joe Biden. It's about the leverage that foreign entities could have on Joe Biden. It's not about Hunter Biden. It's about someone else having access to this kind of information. We know that that's been leveraged against politicians. You can see it with sex scandals. You can see it with Anthony Weiner. For crying out loud, you don't think that someone had Jeffrey Toobin by the short hairs until he screwed up and did it himself? I guarantee you he had to do the bidding for someone who was like, it would be a shame if I reveal this footage of you furiously masturbating in your office. Wouldn't be like, I didn't know anyone was watching. It was a Zoom call, Toobin.
It was on your schedule.
I'm muted. By the way, you know who says this is not a Russian hoax? The FBI. Do you know who else also said this? John Ratcliffe, the guy who's the head over there.
Head of intelligence.
Head of intelligence.
But listen, because the FBI says it doesn't mean enough because they've been trying to go after Trump for a long. They've had access to these contents, a laptop for a long time. Haven't done anything.
I think that makes it more believable because obviously they would be going for Biden. They'd say, no, it's I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Right. But they've said no.
It is absolutely remarkable. And this lady, well, I shouldn't say remarkable. This lady's going to be moderating the debate. Do you think that it's going to be safe? Do you think that it's going to be fair? No. Because everyone knows that the gaps are closing right now and these states are within the margin of error.